right. Once again, we're talking more 30 Days of Night. Another two shorter stories that were, I believe, both in the 2005 annual. It would make sense that they were. The first one is called Picking Up the Pieces by Steve Nile and art by Ben Templesmith. They're back together, and it is a John Ikos story. John Ikos is vastly becoming like a main character. He's one of the people of Barlow, Alaska. He lives on the outskirts, and he's kind of dedicated his life to hunting vampires. Picking up the pieces, he finds a vampire frozen after the return to Barlow arc, brings him back, is going to thaw him out and basically vivisect him until he gets what he wants. Well, it turns out that that vampire is the rogue FBI agent that has become an antagonist from Dark Days. And they end up having a kind of a confrontation, but it cliffhangs and goes into what is called the Journal of John Ikos, which is also by Steve Niles, but this time the art is by Nat Jones. And in this, John Ikos has gone down to Los Angeles to hunt this FBI agent down. And in it, he runs into the sympathetic vampire from the previous stories that believes that humans and vampires can coexist. He also runs into Billy from Dead Billy Dead. So the three of them have an adventure, and they deal with this group of vampires that want to start a war between the humans and the vampires in LA. And John Ikos, he's basically the Punisher or like Blade in this series. He's walking around with a shotgun. He says it's a semi-automatic. It's described as a semi-automatic military-style shotgun, which I assumed like Benelli M4 or something like that. But they just draw a double-barreled shotgun. Is that supposed to be like a semi-auto in 2005? That didn't exist. I mean, that's an awesome idea that would exist. Can you imagine the recoil on like a double-barreled semi-auto 12-gauge? I know they make a double-barreled 12-gauge pump-action shotgun. That is a thing now in the 2020s. But I don't think they make a semi-automatic double-barreled shotgun. Or if they do, it's probably in an experimental phase. If they do make that, I will be the first in line to buy it, because that sounds awesome. Will I shoot it? Probably never, because it sounds like it would dislocate my shoulder to do that. But I really like the Journal of John Ikos. In my opinion, thus far, it has the best art out of all these. It's really well done pencils and inking. It gets the goth, it gives it almost a gothic aspect to LA, just a little different than what it was like in the second arc, Dark Days. But I still like this, and him hunting these vampires, and having to team up with other vampires to stop these vampires, which is something he does not want to do, but he's kind of forced to, and I liked that quite a bit. And I look forward to more John Ikos stories. What would I rank these? Picking Up the Pieces is good, but it's very short. I read it in the span of maybe 10-15 minutes. It's a good 3.5 out of 5. I really like the John Ikos character and the FBI agent. I think he's a creepy sub-villain. Who knows what he's up to? He kind of does his own rogue thing. And then the Journal of John Ikos, I give a good 4.3 out of 5. It's well worth your time to check out. It is a wonderful breath of fresh air from Bloodsucker Tales, and makes part of Bloodsucker Tales worth reading. So, anyway, tonight I will be on General Lots' stream. We're going to be streaming the new Alien game that was for VR. They've now ported it to like the regular PC. So I'll be on there talking about good old Zula Hendrix. So if you want to check that out, go do so. The link to his channel will be down below. Anyway, have a nice day.